Good afternoon, and welcome. Good afternoon, and welcome to the show. It's a Saturday afternoon, and we like to chop it up, keep things fresh, keep things moving. The best of the 757 Community Talk Show, and I am your host, Captain85. But nevertheless, I got a special guest today. You already know he's hilarious, he's funny, and I'm going to bring him on with no further ado. The one and only, the legend, soon to be legend, soon to be. I'm talking about the one and only Alex Vaughn, the comedian. How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you was able to take a few minutes out of your busy schedule today, to continue to, doing your comedy and letting people get to know who you are. And, for those that may not saw you the first time you was on the show, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Alex Vaughn. I do stand-up comedy. I write a decent amount, and I just like creating content for people to enjoy on social media.
Okay, yeah, it's I got a few clips that I play every day on my radio show, and I just want to try to get people implemented in knowing who you are so they can follow you too. Tell them where they can follow you at and get more of your content.
Well, if you want everything on every social media platform, it is I am Alex Vaughn. You can even search it up on Google, and all my social medias and platforms should show up on I am Alex Vaughn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. Good to know. So I know you constantly you guys, when are you going to have some new you do new material how many days a week do you do new material?
So normally what I try to do is I try to post at least a joke a day on social media. It has taken a little bit of a, let me say, hiatus in the last like 3 weeks. I've been trying to do some stuff in the real world. But normally it's every day. And then you can normally catch me at a lot of open mics in my local area. To see some live actual new comedy. And I try to come up with a new routine probably like once a week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I try to keep up with you and keep following you wherever you might be at. To show support because you're my youngest son, and some of the things that you do are in the entertainment. But because I know when you was growing up, and you always wanted to DJ, and I would let you talk on the mic. Do you think that might have some influence on your life? Being able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. I think talking on the mic gave me a lot of public speaking skills, a lot of confidence, and just stage presence when it comes to my entertaining. So,
okay, because DJ and because I have been doing it so long, and being married, and trying to raise a family, like I was mentioned every now and then, like when Alexander, now your brother Kenrick, when he started working at the club, and we was talking, when we was up there doing some work, and he said, Dad, you promised me that you was going to come to my play to see me, and you never came. And to me, that was like really hurting. He wasn't mad. He just, stated that it hurt him.
yeah.
And I don't do things to hurt my kids or anybody's kids, but it kind of like when it came to you, I, because you was always mistress, your mom always calling me at the club, like, yo, tell him to go to bed. Tell him to go to bed. I said, okay, put him on the phone. I said, you better go to bed. And you said, okay, Dad, I love you. Then an hour later, she's calling me back. He's on the computer again. And I'm saying, well, take the plug, unplug it. She said, I unplugged it. I took the cord. He found another one. and you was back on the computer. So I think, with you know, talking and explaining to me, you know, the things that you was trying to do and you like. And I think that, you know, from that I learned from you is that kids are always more creative when they're young, and the parents kind of like stop them from learning. What do you feel about that?
I think that parents always try and want what's best for the kid,
Mm.
and they stop them from taking risk. They try to make sure they take a safe route in life so that they can have a safer life. But I feel like life is one of those things that how I say this right. I don't think okay, so I don't think parents do a bad role in I'll say cultivating wherever the kids' dreams or desires are. I just think that a lot of it comes out of fear or a passed down generational curses where they wanted to do something and the parents told them no. And then they grew up and realized that like maybe they were right. Then they just keep passing on the same cycle. No, but I do believe like there was a decent amount of things growing up that y'all didn't want me to get into, and there was a decent amount of things that y'all like allowed me to like fully flesh out. Uh, I'll say that comedy wasn't one of those things, and theater and acting one of those things, but there were like other things I wanted to do that she was like probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think parents stop their kids. I don't think parents purposely stop their kids from doing the things that they want to. I think they have a idea of how they want their life to be, but I still think that the kid has an idea of what their life wants to be, and I think the kid wants to
Mm.
find that out on their own.
Yeah.
I think parents do. I think parents do a weird job of shielding their kids from pain versus then exposing it to them and then teaching them how to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, when you I look at kids, I look at kids, all kids, in kind of the same way, but because I know I'm always protective of all my kids, you know, because you know I have a temper, and I know you could do anything to me, and I may not. I just okay. They don't know what they're doing, or I'll take time to say, well, people under a lot of pressure, they don't mean what they do. But when it comes to kids, I don't look at anything other than they a child, and you shouldn't treat or talk to them any kind of way that they don't understand. You're forcing them to be bullies. You're forcing them to react in a way just to try to protect themselves and the way they think. And that's where I look at it. You know, there's a fine line when it comes to kids with me. You know, you don't want to cross that line. I just know how I am. I don't care if you police. I don't care if you their parent. Is something about protecting kids that I doesn't set well with me when it comes to raising kids. They can have anything they want as long as it doesn't hurt them. They can have, if I got the money, I just give it to them and let them. But you know, there's a limitation to some things that you watch, some things that you play, games that you play, and you have to take time to spend with kids in order to make sure they understand that it's not something that you're being mean about, but something that you're trying to get them to understand. These things can come and become harmful to you mentally and emotionally and spiritually if an adult is not really paying attention. How do you feel with all the violence going on in schools today? You know, teens taking guns to school, and not even teens. I'm talking about kids 6 and 7 years old. What do you feel about that as you know you grew up and today youth? How what would you tell them and their parents?
So that's like two separate questions.
Right.
All right. How do I feel about kids taking guns to school? I think that is a failure at the home, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Uh, I love guns. I will sit here and say I am a 2A advocate. But I do believe that like you should try to introduce or at least notion the idea early about what guns are early in somebody's life, because guns is just a thing that is in our culture as an American. And then the whole idea of kids taking guns to school, I don't think there should be any reason why there should be any kids taking any weapons in school. And I think that it stems more for the problems at home, or stems for the problem at home, or that individual child is being neglected. I'm not saying any of the actions that they do are right. I'm just saying that there's a deeper problem than just the guns. And then what was the last question you asked? Because you asked about bringing guns to school, and then what was the other question?
Oh yeah, what if I can remember? I'm
Yeah,
talking.
because you asked two separate questions. You was like, "How do you feel about kids bringing guns to school?" So I was like,
Right.
that's not a. I think that's a at home problem. I think there's like a
Right.
bigger issue that we're not addressing. And then you said another question. I forgot what the other question was.
Yeah, well, let's go. I probably was saying that. Do you feel that a child should be have the access? I meant to say access to guns so freely.
Yeah, no. So I think well, I'm gonna say this. I think if you're allowed to drive a car, you should be able to have access to the firearms that your parents had gave you permission to use. Like if a kid wanted to go hunting outside with his friend, hunting outside in some areas at like 16, like 17, I don't think that you need to ask your parents permission. Just like you can get behind a car that is just as dangerous as a gun. That can do as much damage to anything you hit it with. I just don't think we view it that same way. But I think from like 16 below, you shouldn't, like, it should be like kept in a place to where you don't have easy, readily access to.
Yeah, but what I don't even think. I mean, I don't know if the question ever come up. Some of these people, some of the videos that I have viewed with people that's child has been involved with, taking weapons to school or shooting students, that they had some type of training and easy access to guns.
Well, there's nothing wrong. Okay, so right, causation and correlation, two different things. I still think that you should, if you have guns, right, you should train the people in your household. One, education on just basic gun safety, being like, hey, don't point this at anybody. Don't put your hand on the trigger. Treat every gun like it's loaded. I think that should just be taught to everybody in the house if there are guns in the house, just in case if for some reason somebody makes a mistake and a gun is left out and somebody knows exactly what it is and what to do with it. Second part is I still believe that like you should know how to use a firearm if you have firearms in the household, in case if for some reason, let's say a kid is by themselves. This happened before. A kid was home by themselves, somebody broke in, and the kid used the gun to defend his house, defend the front. I think it was like the front. They came in through the front door, defend the house, and make sure that him and everybody else who was there was safe. I don't think properly training somebody how to use a gun correlates to kids taking guns to school and causing an issue. I think that there's way less people taking guns to school because they know the dangers and the magnitudes of how like dangerous guns are than the inverse. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, I just want to get your opinion on it. That's not the top. Just
I got you. Yeah, I just know. So my firm belief is that like for most cases, right, I can understand if like kids stay home, you allow access to like shotguns just in case if somebody comes in. But I still think that between the ages of like, I don't know, 0 to like 16, 17, the age to where you can't legally drive, that you don't have access to guns readily available after the age of 16, you should at least have access to like, I don't know, a shotgun or a long rifle like the state allows for 18-year-olds to have, and you should have access to a handgun until the law says you have access to a handgun. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I know because when I was about 19 or 20, I had a gun, but I went and registered down at the police department in Portsmouth, get my permit. And open, you have to, not a concealed permit, but just to carry your gun on out in public. So I got out of the car one day, went into 7-Eleven with the gun on. So when I got to the counter to pay for my soda and honey bun, I think that's what it was. And the guy said, "Hey, you think you bad, don't you?" One of the customers in there. So I kind of like was ignoring him. And he said, "No, he said, well, did you hear me talking to you? Don't you know I'll take that gun away from you?" So I'm like, okay, this is, see, I know my temper. So I didn't say nothing. I just walked out, got in my car. When I did that, I'm like, I always call it saying my spirit speaking to me. I said, I ain't never, I took it off and put it in the glove compartment. I'm never wearing a gun out again.
So I would agree with you that
Mm.
that is a thing. But I always say that, like, if you're gonna carry a gun, always say carry it concealed, because I think guns do have a, I'm not saying energy to them, but they do have like a stereotype to them that like trouble invites trouble, and having
Yeah.
it open carry only invites more trouble.
Yeah.
But having it with you is still a thing, because you may need a time to defend somebody, you or somebody you care about, and that's why I recommend concealed carry.
Yeah.
I think I got
Yeah.
my concealed. I think I still got my concealed carry license on me, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So I haven't hit one in a minute. I had applied for one at the time when I was running Picasso's, because operating a business and handling and transferring money to banks and stuff,
Yeah,
businesses.
I still have
You
my.
allow, yeah,
Yeah, I
that
had to cover the
allows
information. Yeah,
allows you to get a permit, but I really didn't. I don't want it now either way. I'm usually the advocate. I'm out because I studied martial arts and stuff, and I know how to disarm. I've disarmed a lot of people with guns, and when it comes to running the club at night, I had enough staff that was licensed and trained, military trained, and sometimes part-time police police officers or something, or retired security, that it was police officers that knew how to handle those situations. And I trained all my staff. You never ever talk to a person in other people, in the presence of other people, because as I've always said, the black man is always, he rather lose the he rather lose the he rather lose the war if you disrespect him. He don't have to have a weapon. He just, you cannot talk to a black man or a woman in front of other people. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, I don't had over 50 years of experience with that. You cannot, you have to pull them away from an audience and talk to them and try to direct them in a way that, hey, let's talk over here. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to run up on you and grab you. Even my security, I would tell them, if it's a situation, call me, get me wherever I'm doing. And if I'm going towards that situation, I would, because I had another gentleman named Mike Reed. He was military trained and stuff, and had to work with the police department as like a satellite police officer. And it was always, he would call it, I'm two toes, I'm two toes off your heel. And that means that he's behind me, whether or not I see him or not. And that if I approach somebody, if they move in the wrong direction towards me, he's gonna take them out. Not disarm them, or have them in a way that they can't proceed. And I was like, yeah, that's okay, but I don't need y'all walking by behind me like that, because it becomes a threat when more than one person approaches an individual, especially in the Afro American community, because this is what they brought up. I mean, not brought up, but this is the situation that they occur in their communities. So I would go and talk to them myself, and then, like, let me get them to the door, and let's get them outside, and then we'll engage that way, because I got armed security outside, but I never would have armed security on the inside of the club, because once you pull a weapon, a bullet, you have to discharge that. A bullet don't have nobody's name on it.
yeah,
It's gonna go into where it hit a target, but it may not hit the right target. So we always try to prevent and keep people safe. And safety is the key component to anything. I think that with young people, they so afraid and scared and being tormented and bullied that they feel like they have to carry a gun. As in your childhood, and I know a couple of times there was a couple of incidents where people were teasing you or something, but you was always kind of like silent, even when I could sense when something is wrong with you. I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing. I said, you don't get quiet unless something's wrong. and then you would tell me, scenario. So what would you tell parents, because you are still a young person, and as a child, and if you could reflect on some of the situations that you might have occurred while you was in school, what would you tell parents that might be looking today? What would you tell them how to handle and notice what's the symptoms that your child might be facing when they been bullied or
I mean, I was different. So if I was getting clowned on in school, I was just quiet because I was like, I just need. So for me, right, I just knew that. I don't know when I learned this, but I knew like if you was getting clowned or if anything bad happened at school and you was getting joked, if you gave it 72 hours, if you didn't pay them any mind for like 72 hours, it'll eventually go away. And knowing that's how it works. So if I was quiet, I was like, I just need to just keep my head low and just not draw any attention to myself, and then it'll go away. I'm not gonna say I am a good person to give advice to. I would just say, you know how your child normally acts. And if you see them acting completely different, that means that there's something wrong. And then just open up a space, allow them to just tell them that they're have a safe space to talk. I won't even say safe space. It's like just be patient and allow them to feel that they are able to open up and communicate to you what's going on. But I still believe that I don't know, kids got to learn coping mechanisms because high school, middle school is just a stepping stone to real life, and the real life is just as bad as it is in regular world. So they got to learn how to cope with I would say name calling, teasing, and just getting picked on for doing dumb stuff. I think that's the thing that just happens all throughout life. So I'm not saying I condone it in a younger age, but I still think that people still they go through it so they can learn coping mechanisms. That's why I learned how to do comedy. You just got real funny. Just get real funny real quick.
So that brings us back to the topic of your comedian and creative juices in creating your storyline. I wanted to play one or two, then we could talk about some of your comedy views.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this new generation of teens got it easy when it comes to dating. Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here? Bro, I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Y'all have it so easy, bro. Y'all got Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Omegle, Uvu. Back when I was growing up, bro, we had Kick, Facebook. I don't even think you can DM on Instagram at that point. I remember me being in middle school trying to hit up girls on Edmodo. But that's wicked. For those who don't know, Edmodo is like the Google Classroom for high schoolers. It's like sliding in some girls' DMs on Blackboard for college. Y'all over here scared of the minor rejections. I'm gonna tell you from first hand, bro, I'm somewhere in somebody's group chat. They got screenshots of me being completely ridiculous. Bro, I promise you it's not that bad. Kids nowadays have it so easy. It's not even funny. I saw a $5 bill. I went to go grab it, picked up the meanest weed, and we'll go 2 days later. I think I caught the thing.
And once again, we're talking with Alex Vaughn, the comic. Once again, tell them your pages where they can see and view your clips.
All my clips and social media is I am Alex Vaughn. You can catch it literally everywhere. Just type it in on anything, you'll find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, like, when you create or writing your comic, or scripts, or how motivated is it to keep it clean?
I would say it's motivating. I think sometimes it's just sometimes you just get tired of the same cliche jokes, and normally dirty jokes all follow the same kind of pattern. I just like writing what's relevant. I just like writing jokes that are relevant to my life, and just making it fun. Sometimes they're clean, sometimes it's not clean. I feel like but I feel like there's a lot of more laughter and the smaller things that people don't pay attention to. Would normally end up being regular life stuff that doesn't always have to be dirty.
That's good. Well, yeah, because name some of the places that you have performed in for those that may not be aware of how long you've been performing.
I performed at the Funny Bone, 3 East Comedy, the Live Zone. Let me look it up. I gotta actually look on the list, to be honest with you. By the way. some in North Carolina. What's the one in North Carolina? I can't even use my keyboard right now. I performed at least like probably like 30 franchise comedy clubs from the west, from the East Coast all the way up to California, and then just a lot of like we ran a lot of like theaters and venues out, and just did it at local bars and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't pull off the list at the top of my head of places I performed in. My
Right.
bad. Yeah,
You,
decent amount.
when will you be coming back to Virginia Beach to do some comedy or Funny Bone or?
Oh, and I forgot Kazi's too. Damn, I forgot about Kazi's. Oh, and what was it Sandman Comedy Club? Man, I feel bad because these people that gave me spots when I was first there. Now, hopefully around the summer. I should be down there in June-ish, July, like in of June, early July.
Okay. So I know you're pretty well known in this area because I've come to the Funny Bone and some of your other events. So I'm hoping that when July come or when you have your free time, I'm trying to schedule some events. I just don't know because I'm working on trying to put together my 50-year reunion event, and I'm trying to do like several type of rooms or events at early stage, maybe some comedy while people are eating dinner or before dinner, or while they are socializing in a form where they can have a evening of entertainment if it applies to different rooms. But leading up to the 50-year reunion party, to do some events, and because of my nonprofit 501c to raise money to do things for young people and to have them, to meet different celebrities and status for, preparing them for a life of entertainment or for the as an adult growing up. Um, do you feel that comedy would maybe release some of the pressures uh, of young people that cannot handle being bullied or teased in school?
Yes, because I think comedy allows you to take really, really bad and dark things, or just stuff that is inconvenient, or make people upset in life, and then finding the funniness in it, like finding the light in the darkness.
Okay. Yeah. Sound like one of my phrases, out of darkness come the light. One of my books. But I like, the fact that, you not just dive into just being a comedian, but to try to find ways to improve uh, your style of comedy that will fit, maybe bring forth a new market for a new generation. And how do you get most of your material? If it's from real life, your personal experience, or things that you might see. How do you write? How do you create it?
So I think comedy is one of those skills, and I like it the most. I think comedy is one of the things where you can use everything you know. And I think, well, at least for me, I know I'm not the only comic that does this. I'm not 100% sure. Like 100% of all the comics do this. They take what they know, they take what they see, and they take what they heard, and then they just throw it in like this idea pile, and they just jumble it up to see what is the best way to make a misdirection, a punch, a tag up, and just make a really, really funny joke. I know a lot of my jokes, like I just heard something somewhere, and then I was like, oh, that's funny. And then that relates to this other joke that I already had, and then I added on to here. Sometimes the jokes, and sometimes I'll write a joke knowing like all the information in here is wrong, and I will just write it in a way that makes it sound really, really true, and then you'll believe it. And then at the end of it, I'd be like, yeah, I just made all that up. I made all of that stuff up, but yeah, I still find it funny, so it's fine. Like sometimes it's literally just creative writing and just having fun. Uh, like building your own world with characters and like settings and plots and twists, and just telling a fantastic story to make a good joke.
Yeah, that's the way I somewhat think too. When as a DJ, I'm not, I don't really. People think I do a lot of talking, uh, but I'm telling a story. But at the same time, I'm trying to get the audience to connect with each other.
Yeah.
Because you're in a club, and the DJs, they can say 1,000 things, and the stuff that they say out their mouths. And when I'm hiring, when I managing and promoting entertainment, I have to look at the overall picture. You're a good DJ, but your MC work is, I can't use you because you're not following my format, which I believe in clean words. So whatever you say out of your mouth should be clean. You shouldn't be calling B's and H's, and you shouldn't be talking about, engaging in sex that's disrespectful to ladies or men, but you should be humorous. And it being, as I call it, my team, when you come work for me, you're still your own individual person, but you're a part of Captain 85 Royal Horsemen, because you should be able to entertain people with all your skills. I don't scratch. I'm not a scratcher. I'm not a mixer. All that. I don't ride a beat. I don't do that. I'm a dancer. So in my mind, I'm dancing while I'm DJing, and I want you to do the same thing. So I got to interact to get you to interact with a person that don't know you, never seen you in their lives, but I want them to interact and you get to know each other, because a nightclub is where a lot of people are strangers, especially if you go in a room that holds anywhere from over 2 to 600 or 700 people at one time. That's a lot of people that nobody knows. And anything that a person say or do can make something jump off because you got on the wrong colors or you got the wrong attitude. But to me is, comedy brings people together. And that's why I was glad that you was able to come on and talk about your experience. And what would you tell a upcoming comedian today?
Write and just keep writing, performing, keep writing, get on stage. That's it. Just writing and keep going on stage.
Yeah. Because it helps you calm the jitters.
Well, no. So I would say keep writing because you always want to keep the creative juice flowing, like writing every day. It's like going to the gym. The way you strengthen a muscle is you work it out. And if you want to get better at comedy, you just got to keep writing to strengthen that muscle. And then just keep getting on stage. Like you need the stage time. You need to put in the reps on stage so you can build out whoever you are. Like a lot of people say your voice in comedy, you need to build your voice in comedy. So you have to just keep getting on stage until you find your voice. So write and just get on stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's probably the same way it is as a DJ. I have to keep playing because all the music I play is in my head. I don't make CDs and stuff of that nature. You have to remember the music. You have to remember the rhythm, the vibe, what it feels like. What is that artist saying? He's not just putting words on paper, but he's expressing his intimate feelings or her intimate feelings, or a relationship that didn't go good, that might have went bad. And I can vouch for Taylor Swift. she's a billionaire, but she's good at it. I ain't mad with her. Michael Jackson. I mean, all the tops. Kanye West. I ain't mad at him. We some might go over the edge a little bit more, but you got some that can bring you back off the edge that they put you on. So the DJ, to me, is the person that has to put the music together to formulate. I'm pulling you back. I got to pull you back, because if I go this route, it's gonna go too far, and the whole club's gonna be in chaos. And that's what I feel when a DJ is, mixing music and not paying attention to the type of music and the words. You don't have to use violent words or, sexual words, content to influence an audience to have a good time. So, like I said, that's why I asked you to come back on to give your opinion and your perspective of being a comedian.
Yeah.
So, but any closing words? Because I know you said you had to go.
Check out my content on I am Alex Vaughn. I try to do daily posts each day, and just be looking out for some more comedy shows coming in the future. And I appreciate everybody for stopping and listening. And thank you, Captain85, for having me on the talk show. I appreciate it.
No doubt. Yeah, it's always the door is always open for you to come back. This platform is designed just for that, to bring people that don't get the, need the exposure. Not, you are building your brand, and I've followed you different places, and it's good for you to be. I bring you on because I want other people that might be interested in becoming a comedian, or young people that will. I hope their parents will share this information with them, because I will share it on this platform, and and clips of this to other platforms, so that we can have something, a roadmap for the future generation. And you are the future generation, and because you're still young and you're still learning and creating and knocking down doors that need to be open for the next generation.
I got you.
And I appreciate that. And like I said, you have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming on. And before you go, let me do this right here.
Did you ever want to support black businesses until you realize you had to pay black businesses prices? I'm 99% sure this is not in Martin Luther King's dream. Y'all went from robbing me outside the store to inside the store. Got me paying $20 for a bar of soap, $40 for a snapback, $60 for a shirt, $80 for a hoodie. That all colors wash out in the first wash. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah. I love. I play that a lot on my radio show, because it's like that humorous is right there, and it, you might be having a bad day, and when you think about, oh, wait a minute, he's saying the truth, and everybody's an entrepreneur now in the black community. Everybody's selling something, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was selling what called back in the day when I was about 12. Was that 12? I might have been, 12 or 13. And I was selling this Blair product, honeysuckle perfume to ladies. I was the worst smelling perfume, but they bought it. They bought it because they said, I want to help you out. I don't really wear perfume, but here's $1, for that. It was like $1. I'm like, okay, as long as I'm getting some money, I'm gonna flip this and get something else, So I really appreciate you coming on, and I hope you have a blessed weekend and a great.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right.
Oh, and everybody who is watching, happy Easter. Hope y'all enjoy your Easter.
Yeah. I'm trying to, go to church tomorrow myself, and so once again, thank you for coming on, and have a great day with your family.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Love you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Well, that was Alex the comic. Check him out on all social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and a couple of other ones that I may not be familiar with. But what we try to do here is to inspire and motivate the next generation. We want young people to know that it's not easy to do things, but you don't give up. And I know Alex Vaughn, and he's never given up on anything that he's put his mind to. He's always been successful, even, and he put on special events, and he got his friends that were doing entertainment and got them to come out and at different events that he where they didn't have any business. He helped them grow their business on a slow night. And what we sometimes fail to realize in our community, in the Black community or the minority community, that everybody wants to make revenue. You cannot make revenue unless you have a talent or a gift or a skill that can help you create the opportunity. And this is what it's all about on Vaughn Digital Media, and to be able to try to facilitate events and activities for young people to be involved with. I don't have all the answers, and I don't think nobody have all the answers today in time, because of so many things that affect the way we see things, the things that we have to go through with gun violence, bullying, suicide. It's so many things, drug addiction. Everybody's looking for somewhere to point a finger instead of then sitting down, talking, and educating one another. We look at the wrong things. And like I spoke down at Virginia Beach City Council meeting on Tuesday night, and I can only express the way I feel about things in 3 minutes. Like, I don't see black and white. There's no, as I told them, there's no such thing as a white person. There's no such thing as a black person. These are two colors in the coloring, in the color scheme that we call hue, meaning that you use these two colors to make other colors with the other 6 colors in the box. Out of those 6 colors in the box, you can take those colors and make 1 million colors. You mix black with any other color, and you can make 500,000 colors. You take white, 500,000 colors. You combine them together, and you can totally make 1 million more colors. It's the way you have to get the techniques down, go to and take art in different stages. You may not use all of it in elementary or middle school or high school, but when you get to college level, to a universal level, you have to learn to use those colors. And if we can make art, famous art, out of colors that express beauty, harmony, tells a story, why are we on a planet that we can't get off? And if we do, where are we going? To another planet that may not look like us, may not want us there? We can't even get along here on the planet called Mother Earth. Look at what's going on. Government want to slice programs, saving money. How is you saving money that ain't yours? All money belongs to the people. You just supposed to manage it properly and not give it away to people that already got millions of dollars. Being destructive. If you put more money into projects that bring people together, I think the planet would be a better place. I think that's the reason God created Earth. We're so far out in the universe that other planets around us got life. But you don't even understand, if you don't read and study and research, that you know that if a nuclear weapon goes off on the planet Earth, that it will open up portals for other planets to come here. And because of all this technology we have, some of this technology comes from other worlds that watches over us to see if we're going to be reckless with nuclear weapons. To be reckless. Yeah, you can destroy a city. You can destroy the ground, the earth, where it's launched at. Russia had a meltdown at Chernobyl. And maybe I forgot the year, but I know it's been about at least 20 years, close to 20. They cannot use that land today, and this is a fact, look it up, research it, for 300 years. So they got about 200, let's say 250 more years before they can ever have growth on that land, because that's what radiation does. It destroys the soil in which you live. Why are we killing each other? It's like all we want to do just kill people that don't look like us, don't talk like us. What in the world are you thinking? You create, you reproduce life. but you didn't create it. You reproduce. That's what sex is. That is not love. Sex is for reproducing. Animals reproduce. We are the human race. We have the power to reproduce. But we have taught and educate our young people that sex is love, and it's not love. Because if it was love, you would respect yourself and the person that you're with. Why? Because we all have the right to our privacy, our body, our human body. And sex is, as they call it, an aphrodisiac. It stimulates you. Of course, it's a great stimulation. If you can enjoy it without reproducing, but sometimes we get reckless, like we don't care. It's the feeling that we have about ourselves and not about the other person. And it's hard to bring a child in a world, this world, day and time, or any other time, and not have love. Love is the most powerful weapon on this planet. Love. And you say, well, how is that? The nuclear weapon, guns are powerful. Love. Because if you love yourself and respect yourself, you will see yourself as Michael Jackson, the great pop singer. It's the man in the mirror. You have to believe that you are better than destruction. Why do you want to kill somebody? It's like getting up eating breakfast. We weren't supposed to be eating a lot of flesh and food made from animals. We are vegans and eating fruit. One man in the Garden of Eden. Did you ever see Adam or hear of Eve eating a lion or a tiger or any animal of that nature? They ate fruit. And today, that's some of the, things that we have to eat because of our body intake. People that's eating a lot of different flesh of animals, we got diabetes, we got high blood pressure, we got to go to the dentist. It's like we just doing things to make jobs for other people. Jobs for other people. We're not taking care of the most precious gift God has gave us, the human body. The human body. We just take it for granted. All the things around us, we take it for granted. We get upset. We get in a rage. We want to take it out on someone else because we can't make them do what we want what we want them to do. Love doesn't reflect making someone do something out of their will. Love is mutual. We all have the right to love who we want to love, see who we want to see. But it has to be mutual. It has to be mutual. We just can't take it and say, she's my woman. It's like, I don't know. Back in the day, I guess that was the caveman thing. I wasn't born in a cave. My ancestors wasn't born in a cave. So when we learn things and learn how to navigate life on this planet, we should respect each other culture, each other race. As a human, we are all different colors. Why are we killing people? The most thing on the news is death. We look at TV to like we eating food to see death, see somebody else harming someone else, destroying something. The weapon of war is so Devastating. You rather keep on killing people to prove what? To take somebody's land? That in another 10 years, you may not be here. Another 15 years, you may not even be here. So how long are you going to enjoy sitting around for the next 10 to 20 years killing people? It's like, hey, I enjoying this. I'm just going to kill a bunch of people. For the people that's left, now they mentally destroyed, mentally have to bear witness to see their child, their brothers and sisters, their mothers and fathers, their grandfathers, their great-grandfathers being destroyed because of egos. Our commodity, our wealth in the United States is being destroyed by the presidency because he's angry and upset, like I'm getting even with the public at large. Why do you want to be president? To hurt? A presidency is supposed to follow the Constitution, and you're trying to destroy it. And it's important that American people understand what's going on. We cannot sit around and facilitate the things like, oh, we're not going to talk about African history. So I know I'm in Virginia Beach. I know the question has to come up sooner or later that I will address it at Virginia Beach. We've been waiting over 7 years for the African Cultural Center to break ground. But if the president have his way, is Virginia Beach going to open the African Cultural Center in the Afro-American community in the Lake Edwards area? Or will it not ever be built? Trying to erase our history is like trying to take the sun out of the sky or the moon out of the sky at night. It can never happen. It can never happen. Only thing you're creating is more animosity. People just want to live, take care of their family, take a vacation, go out and have a little fun, and get up and get on the ground again at the job that they have. Why are we creating all these problems? When you create problems that other people can't really see, Mr. President, is your staff getting paid? Are you paying them? Are they volunteering to work free? Is your staff, your cabinet, all these administrating people that you done put in place, are they working free? Is Elon Musk supposed to be advising the president? I guess we don't have no Americans that's smarter than Elon Musk because he's a billionaire. He's one of the richest men in the world. But how long can he stay the richest man in the world when the world is turning against his products, dismantling the stock market, and his stock is falling? Make it make sense, because tariffs is taxes. You can give whatever name you want. You're like you're hustling people that are poor to keep them poor. Hey, look, let me tell you something, buddy. I'll let you sell your goods, brother. Look, you're going to have to put an extra $10 on that for me, and that'll make you giving me $30, and I'm cool with that. You know, you can go out here and push it on to the consumer, because the consumer ain't got no job now, because I done laid off a bunch of people. So they ain't going to be able to buy your product. They ain't going to be able to work. I mean, make it make sense. Are you trying to live in a world that you think it ain't going to be no blacks or other minorities on this planet? Do you really think that? Why don't you go isolate yourself on an island somewhere where it ain't nobody but you and your family, Mr. President? Oh, you got the CIA. Let's see how long your mental capacity, your mental health will last. Be careful for what you wish for. I don't wish bad on no one. But I tell you right now, your mental health will deteriorate because we are human. Human needs to interact with other humans. It is the way the world is. But we don't have to fall into a world of destruction, a world of sin, and hurt other people like we getting a kick out of people hurting people. And you getting a kick out of doing what you're doing because other people didn't want you to be president. You should have known that before you sign up for the job. That's with anybody, any job. I'm a DJ. And you ain't going through nothing that I ain't been through other than you rich and I'm poor. People don't like me, but I ain't going around talk about them. I ain't going around trying to destroy what they got. Why? Because God didn't make me that way. But the enemy will try to do that. We have to look at things with sunshades on, set it in color glasses, because we look at color and we don't pretend to see it. We act like feelings shouldn't matter. I've been in the pleasure of being in the presence of the president when I went to a Broadway play, Raisin in the Sun, with P. Diddy starring. The last night that P. Diddy performed that play was the last night Donald Trump was there. And he sat right across from me and my wife. Well, my fiance then, like he was with his fiance, we had something in common. But I wanted to, to get up and, because the aisles are so small and so many people were crowding him trying to get autographs and take pictures. And because I'm in the entertainment business, and managing clubs and working with celebrities, I'm like, I wanted to step and say, excuse me, he's trying to relax and enjoy the evening with you, maybe give him a moment, before the play, break. But some said, no, do not interfere. But he was gracious and took pictures and said hello to people that stopped by. I think the president just wants to be liked. He's like, to me, a child. He just wants to be liked. He might be smart. He's important. We know that because he's the president. But most of the time, people just don't like him for whatever reason. I look at people, all people, in a spiritual way. He seemed to be a nice guy to me. I didn't speak to him, but he was polite and with the people that were there. A lot of people there at the play was Black. But what is it that we have to do to understand that people just want to be loved? Mr. President, I love you. I don't have to. I don't love you because you're a Republican. I love you because God created you. And all the other things and all the other people on the planet is because of God, the creator, the one who died on the cross, who sent his son to die on the cross so that we all could have everlasting life, not create death and wish death on others. Because in a blink of an eye, God can do it all. Well, it's time for me to run. I hope you share this and with other people. And thank Alex the comic for coming on. Till the next time, until Tuesday, join me on the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show.